Merry Meet Witches, welcome back to Intro to Wicca. I am Graybeard Crowfather in this second video of the series of Intro to Wicca. I'm going to preface this video by saying that I'm going to leave the comments active, and anyone leaving any nasty or negative comments will have those comments deleted and you will be banned from the channel. That being said, let's step right into it. Wanted to go back a little bit into the history of Wicca and where it came about. In the 40s, Gerald Gardner, a British man, had taken all the conglomeration of the witchcraft that he'd been reading about and learned about and took it and turned it into what is known today as British traditional Wicca or Gardnerian Wicca. It grew through the 40s and through the 50s and the 60s. There are many offshoots of that particular flavor of Wicca. You have your Sax, your Dianic, your Alexandrian, and nowadays it's more common to run into somebody who's just doing eclectic Wicca, which is just taking different parts of all the different types of Wicca or witchcraft and making it their own. Paganism had been around since pretty much the dawn of time, when humankind was on the earth. The shamans, the wise women, the medicine man, they were pretty much the first pagans, the ones who the people would look to when it came to needing healing, or when something was wrong with the crops, they would look to them to work their magic to be able to have things better or go right. So just a little bit quick, dip into where Wicca came from. Nowadays, most of the people that I've met are eclectic, solitary witches, not too many covens or circles around. My coven that we run here is a majority of witches who were solitary but found each other and have a place to come and to celebrate all the Sabbats on. And we'll go over the Sabbats in the 8 days of power down the road here. Wanted to cover a little bit about the goddess and the god, who are the main deities of Wicca. The goddess is the universal mother. She represents love and light and fertility, among many other things. She's primarily represented by the moon, and in those moon phases of waning, full, and waxing, the maiden, the mother, and the crone are represented in them. So you can see the different phases of the moon, and that's pretty much how we see the goddess. There are many symbols and many animals that represent her. They are too numerous for me to list all of them. You can find different resources online and find what relates to her. The god is the goddess's consort. He is eternal. He has the process that he goes through is, birth, life, death, and rebirth, as represented by the different seasons in the wheel of the year. Again, we'll go over those Sabbats in the 8 days of power in another lesson down the road here. So when you see the symbol, the triple goddess symbol, it looks like, the quarter moon, the full moon, and then the reverse quarter moon. That's generally representative of the goddess symbol. The god symbol is similar. It's more of just a circle with a couple of horns down the top. I'll get a couple of those symbols here shortly, and I'll show you what they look like. Maybe not this lesson, but in the next lesson. One of the things, I'm gonna offshoot here for a second. I don't have a professional camera or professional lights yet. I'm working on that. This is the first time that I've ever decided to do anything like this, so the quality of the videos may be so-so, but I promise they'll get better off down the road once I get a little bit more better equipment. As it is right now, I'm just using my cell phone to take the videos. Actually sitting on top of a box with a stand behind it, and anytime you see me reach out or turn away, it's me trying to keep the cat from knocking the phone off of the off the box. So, to make a good relationship with the goddess and the god, there are a couple things you can do. I know in the previous lesson I had you go out and, you know, talk, sit out in the woods and just listen and listen to the voices of the god and the goddess, and then have you write down that information. Well, that is kind of a segue into the next part that I'm going to talk about. That journal or book that you hopefully had a chance to do should transform itself into your own personal book of shadows. In those books, you can write whatever you feel belongs in there, spells, rituals, what feelings you may have, the days that you want to put in there, what you experienced. You can keep your book of shadows as a physical copy, or you can make a digital copy out of it, or you could have both. I find it's easier myself to have both, because when I need to print up a ritual for the upcoming Sabbath, for when we're going to celebrate it, it's easier to just go in, you know, make edits as needed, and then print it out. I generally use the same rituals year-round, making slight changes depending on the year and whatever the ritual is going to actually contain as far as how I'm going to have the group participate in the ritual. So whatever's easiest for you, it's yours and yours alone. Make it your own. If you're in a Gardnerian tradition, they may have you actually copy somebody else, one of the elders' Book of Shadows, and then use that, and then you can add to it as you go down the road, and on your journey down the path, you'll probably end up adding a lot more to it. So, anyways, as I stated in the last video, listening to the voices of the goddess and god, with the goddess, to get to know her better and to get a good rapport going with her, when you have time, if it's possible, go outside during the nighttime, during a moon, when the moon is around, if possible. If not, just kind of envision the moon being there in the fullest and brightest it can be. Sit there and close your eyes, and then envision the goddess reaching out to you, and feel the power of her on your skin, and feel it absorbing into you. That's how you can communicate with the goddess. She will do it when you actually take the time to go ahead and sit out and do it. And that goes the same for the god too. If you have time on a nice sunny day, go outside, sit in the sun, let the god's rays rain down upon you, and feel it and absorb that power from the sun. So anytime you get a chance to go out day or night, go ahead and do so, and you'll feel them communicating with you. Now, one of the next topics I'm going to cover is altars. An altar is not needed at all for when you're first starting out. Most people want to start one just because they feel it gives them, you know, a sense of belonging, or a way of communicating with the goddess and the god and making a connection with them, more so than they would be able to do just by sitting out in the sun and in the moonlight. But if you want, you can start an altar. I would say start simple. Small table, or even a small like cigar box is fine. Anything that you feel would make a perfect altar for you. Now, on that altar, you don't need a lot. Start with basics. I made up a list. candles, a bowl of water, a bowl of salt, a bell or a little bell if possible, a little cup or a little chalice, your crystals. If you're into tarot, you can put your tarot cards on. Anything that you might have found as far as being your a wand, you can find a good piece of wood and turn it into your wand and put that on there. You don't need all this stuff. I'm just giving suggestions. Down the road, when you want to get a little bit more involved in it, you can get hold of like a small pentacle or a cauldron, a small little cauldron, a mortar and pestle, a thame, a bowling. All that can come later. Just start basic, start simple. You know, use your imagination. Find stuff around your house. You can find a lot of really good stuff for it at like antique shops and thrift stores. That's where I found my large cauldron out on our outside altar. I'll show that to you one of these days down the road too when I get a chance to go outside, and we'll film out there too. You know, great deals you can find on the cheap if you don't want to spend the money or go to like Amazon or 13moons.com or any of those metaphysical stores. Or if you have a local metaphysical store and you want to spend the money, go for it. Make it your own. When you're setting up the altar, the left side is generally what you would consider the side for the goddess. The middle, it'd be the combination of the god and the goddess, and the right side would be the god. Just, you know, don't worry about it where you're putting stuff. It's not like written in stone. There is no particular dogma you need to follow. You know, make it your own. Put things where you feel they belong. There's no, you know, nothing written in stone. So that brings me to my homework for you for this video. Go ahead and get yourself something, if you can, to set up a small altar. And, you know, doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be elaborate if you want. If you want to go all out, go crazy for it. You don't have to. Put something together for yourself. And once you have your altar set up, if you can take it outside, do so and sit out in the sun or the moonlight, you know, and you'll feel that little connection starting to grow every time you do that. You can do it nightly, you can do it every other day, you can do it whenever you feel that you need to do it. But give that a shot. Go ahead and put yourself together a little altar and see how it goes for you. That's all I have for tonight. I know I'm going through a lot of information in such a short amount of time. I will try to cover as much as I can. I was planning on doing these videos every Sunday night and Wednesday night, and then rotate it so that the following week I do it Sunday night, Wednesday night, and then, Sunday, Wednesday, and then Friday. So it all depends on how much time I have and what I can get to. So, because I do actually work a regular job that takes up a lot of my time too. Hopefully you're getting some good information from this. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. I will answer them for you. Have a good night all. Blessed be.